River Navarro. I'm the Director of Clinical Services at Bakersfield Behavioral Healthcare Hospital. I'd like to say hi to everyone, all of our Facebook family and our friends. I'd like to say Happy Wellness Wednesday to all. It's good to be back. I want to talk about the holidays today. So I've heard that there have been some requests that some people have made, and people were requesting information about depression specifically, and so I did want to respond to that. But with the upcoming holiday season, I kind of thought I would talk about the holidays and depression. Next week, I can focus a little more in depth on depressive episodes, major depressive disorder, so on and so forth. I can maybe go a little more in depth on that next time. But for today, it's going to be holidays and depression. So, a lot of us, maybe you've heard, it's referred to as the holiday blues. It does impact a lot of people around this time of the year. And I was thinking today, like, oh my goodness, Thanksgiving's around the corner. And then right after that, we're going to have, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's. There's going to be a lot of things going on. And of course, there have been, I feel like our holiday season has been, is a little uncertain at the moment due to COVID-19. A lot of people are, they say the holidays are canceled this year, and that kind of thing. So no, the holidays aren't canceled this year, but maybe the way we traditionally celebrate them is going to look a little different. So I know within even my own family, friends, people I know personally, we've had to start having those conversations about, so what does our holiday season look like? So that in and of itself can be depressing for a lot of people or create anxiety or stress, right, because of the uncertainty. So I did want to draw attention to that. And just naturally, there's a lot of stress associated with the holiday season. There's a lot of planning and, you're buying gifts and there's a lot more to it. Something I did want to mention briefly is that some people suffer from what is called seasonal affective disorder. So because of the decrease in sunlight and the weather's very gloomy, it's, very dim, dark, whatever you want to call it. Some people naturally, that can cause some people to struggle with depression during the winter months. So if you're one of those people, you're not alone. It's a thing. It's recognized by, the clinical community and so on and so forth. So I'm also going to share later on in the video, I'll give you some tips that might help you, deal with stress during this time and depression. So we'll kind of get to that in a minute. There's also a lot of unrealistic expectations surrounding the holidays. Some people, they kind of like pump it up, it's got to be bigger, it's got to be grander, it's, we've got to top last year. I've literally heard people say that, oh, we got so many gifts last year, we gotta like, up it this time or something. And so sometimes people put a lot of pressure on themselves, to spend a certain amount of money, or, oh, well, I have to spend this much on this person, and then, okay, I got to be fair to this person. And it can get pretty ridiculous at times. And so that's something that might contribute to feelings of depression as well. There's also a lot of over-commercialization, right? So we're just like bombarded. There's the holiday music. There's stuff on the news. There's the holiday commercials. You got to see all the holiday families and their matching pajamas. And it's just a lot. It can be overwhelming. There's a lot of stimulation, I think, that happens with this over-commercialization of the holiday season. So just something to keep in mind. Of course, financial issues, right? We're still in the middle of a pandemic. Many people are unsure of how they're going to support themselves, how they're even going to get through the holiday season, much less, buy gifts or do any other things or prepare expensive meals. I mean, those are luxuries that maybe a lot of people can't afford right now. So that can definitely, that can impact people. So It's very common during this time of year for people to develop what we call stress responses, right? So you might not even realize this is happening to you. So these are maybe some things that, some signs, things that you might want to look out for. So if you're noticing them with yourself, you can kind of take a step back, reflect, practice your mindfulness, right? And maybe kind of slow down and take it easy. So I want to share some of those with you too, kind of what to look for and signs that you might be either struggling with depression or stress during this time. Headaches. So just a lot of times when people are not feeling well emotionally, they can, those symptoms can manifest themselves as physical symptoms. So a lot of people sometimes kind of don't understand the connection between their mind and body, right? So it's like, why am I getting these headaches all of a sudden? What's that about? I never have headaches. You might be depressed or stressed. So a lot of people attribute things like symptoms of depression to physical symptoms, but that can also be an indication that maybe something's not quite right. Excessive drinking, right? Overindulging in general, trying to fill a void or trying to numb something that maybe you don't want to deal with or, you're struggling to deal with. So if you're noticing some changes in, your eating patterns, drinking patterns, you notice you're consuming more substances, that's definitely something that you might want to talk to a professional about. Overeating, I mentioned, and insomnia. So there is a connection between people who have sleeping disturbances and people with depression. So many people with depression, this is something they often report. They're either oversleeping or they're not getting enough sleep, and it's definitely impacting them throughout their day. So just some things to keep in mind if you notice some of these things within yourself. Maybe kind of start checking in with yourself, asking yourself some questions about how you're coping. And whether you might be overwhelmed and maybe you need to kind of take a step back or, maybe try talking to someone you trust, a family member, a friend, or a professional. And now I want to kind of switch gears and go over some tips, right? Because there's always things that can help you. So I don't want to leave you hanging. I want to give you some tips to empower you to be able to cope with the holiday season. So tip 1. Have realistic expectations for the season. So I kind of tapped into that earlier. It's got to be bigger, it's got to be better. Like, who cares if we're in a pandemic? We're going hard, and it's like, no, you're just doing too much. Slow your roll. It doesn't have to be that. You can recreate your holiday season this year, right? Tip 2, set realistic goals. I love this one, right? So this definitely requires you to be mindful, right? You want to check in with yourself, you want to be aware, you want to know what your limitations are, what can I do versus what might be out of my control. So I'm going to let you marinate on that. Tip 3, avoid taking too many responsibilities. So I don't know about you, but I'm one of those people where I like to help other people. And that's great. But oftentimes that can lead to me becoming overwhelmed, right? Because I'm doing too much. I'm taking on too much. I'm stretched too thin. That's very easy to do during the holiday season. Feeling obligated to do certain things that maybe you're just not equipped to do at that moment, or maybe you need to take care of yourself first before you overcommit yourself. Tip 4. Avoid putting all of your energy into one day. I love this one because me and my family have this really bad habit of putting all of our energy into Thanksgiving Day, right? We have to prepare the feast. We have to have a certain number of dishes, and all of that is fun, don't get me wrong. But once again, you can put too much pressure on yourself to perform a certain way, or you're putting so much energy into one day that maybe you don't sit back and enjoy the process, or you don't Enjoy the other days throughout the season, right? So you don't have to have a lot of pressure on yourself to, enjoy one day like Thanksgiving Day. Enjoy all the time around it too. Tip 5, enjoy the present moment. So I've kind of tapped into that a few times. Being mindful, being aware. You don't have to keep worrying about the future, right? Just enjoy the moment. Tip 6, avoid comparing this holiday season to the past. So I love this one. That's part of being mindful, right? We're not thinking about the past. We're not worrying about the future. We're just being present and aware in the moment without any judgment, right? And this holiday season is going to be different. It's not going to be like holidays we've had in the past, right? And that's okay. Things change. And that's why it's important to think about what things you want to create this season, right? We don't have to think about, oh, the good old days, or, oh, last year was this and that. This is a very different situation this year, so it's okay to acknowledge that and to be okay with where you're at right now. Tip 7, look for free holiday events. So I don't know about you, but I cannot disagree with free. So having said that, there's a lot of cool things. I remember as a child viewing Christmas lights, right? Driving around and just seeing all the lights and going into certain neighborhoods and seeing how they decorated versus other neighborhoods. That was free. I loved it. I thought it was awesome. And I'm an adult and I still think it's awesome. So there's a lot of cool things that you can partake in that don't cost anything, that are there for your enjoyment. If you're planning on decorating your home, if you have just, some simple decorations to kind of liven the place up, you're going to be decorating a tree or a specific, area of your home or something. So there's a lot of activities or things you can do that don't cost anything that are just a lot of fun. I'm sure there's also going to be a lot of virtual holiday events coming up too. So you can enjoy some holiday events from the comfort of your home. And not have to travel, and it might actually be a lot of fun. So just some things to be on the lookout for. Tip 8, spend time with caring and supportive people. So I cannot stress this one enough. I know as a therapist, I'm always talking about, relationships and support systems and all of that, especially, that we're in the pandemic, but this never goes out of style. It's always going to be a thing. Keep people around you that you trust, that support you, that want to share experiences with you. Those are the people you want to keep around during this time when you need support. Tip 9, try something new this year, or celebrate the holidays in a different way. I love this one. I'm not going to tell you how to do this one, but I like it because you can get creative, right? There's a lot of different ways we can celebrate, whether we're home, whether we're out and about, whether we're with family, whether we're not. I'm a huge fan of Zoom meetings, connecting with people, talking to people through Messenger, FaceTiming. There's so many ways to connect with people right now that, get creative with it. That's what I say. Tip 10, I love this one too. Let other people help you with holiday plans. So a lot of people, it's kind of going back to putting pressure on yourself. Let other people help you. Let other people share responsibilities, right? One person doesn't have to make a holiday feast for everyone, right? People can help. Maybe you make the main dish, someone else makes a side, someone else takes care of drinks, so on and so forth, right? People can contribute to a meal or contribute to an experience. For those parents out there, give your kids things to do, right? They want to help. They want to be part of the experience. Everyone in my family just kind of gets in where they fit in, right? They do what they're good at. Oh, I'll make this dish because I'm good at that. oh, I'm not so good at that, so I'm going to help set up, or I'm going to clean up, or right? So there's something for everybody to do. Tip 11, spread some holiday cheer. I love this one. So I love getting holiday cards in the mail. I love that. It's so old school, but it's awesome. And I do get cards every year from some people. So, you know, if you're going to be spending more time at home, if you're going to be social distancing or kind of, you know, loving people from afar, a great way to do that is send holiday cards out, right? Or even just thinking of you cards, right? Whatever it may be. So many good things to do. You can reach out to a family member or a friend, maybe someone you've been wanting to reconnect with. That would be cool. Or I mentioned earlier, you know, decorating your home. That's a lot of fun. So just kind of get into the spirit and have fun with it. Tip 12. This one is so important. Limit or eliminate alcohol use. So a lot of us kind of associate alcohol with the holidays, you know, holiday parties or holiday events. Oh, we're celebrating. Oh, we're having a toast. Oh, you know, so-and-so got engaged, you know, whatever. There's always something, you know, that we're celebrating. However, alcohol is a depressant. So for those of you who struggle with depression, I know I do, alcohol is probably not going to be a good idea right now. So if you're worried about either you've struggled with depression in the past, you're not really sure what, you know, this holiday season is going to bring, you're kind of uncertain, just kind of be mindful, be aware of how much alcohol you're consuming, or maybe even consider eliminating it for this holiday season and kind of sit this one out. I know I've already taken the sober pledge for the holiday season. I encourage many of you to do the same if you feel that may help. And last tip, keep track of your spending. So it can be so easy, and now that everyone's home, you can shop online. I know I've had to reel it in a couple times, you know, oh, I'm going to stock up on this, oh, I'm going to stock up on that, right, because I don't have to go to the store. So it can add up quickly. So definitely keep track of your spending. This is, you know, I mentioned earlier, financial issues or concerns can definitely stress people out and also lead to feelings of depression during the season. So, you know, be realistic, keep track of what you're spending, you know, just be mindful. So that's all I got for today. I hope you found this video useful, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Have a good one. Bye.